Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And if you're wondering why I'm in a kitchen, I'm still in Belarus. And excuse the microphone quality, but the show must go on. Talking about the show must go on, is this going to be Deja Vu 2 in 2020? Yeah, this is the second time I'm already going to be featuring the Tier 9 Chinese tank destroyer on the channel this year. But trust me, the situation that we're going to have to take this tank and how we're going to have to push it out of its comfort zone, I think was really worth showcasing for a second helping of Tier 9 Chinese tank destroyer gameplay. So, to set the scene, if you're wondering what I'm doing at the start of this battle, yeah, I crashed loading in. Well, not loading in, I crashed on my way into the town, and then I've come back, I've loaded back into the game, and we fire off what we're going to call a warning shot against our enemies, right? Okay, well, hopefully we're going to be able to hit a few tanks next time. Possibly, maybe. So, Ghost Town. This vehicle, I don't know about you all, but on this kind of a map, there's so many different positions that I'd love to go that were just not in the town. I'd love to make my way up into the slope up here, use these bushes, maybe possibly skulk my way at the back of the map, try and provide a crossfire. The problem is that this is a big lumbering tank. I don't have the best of crews on this vehicle, and while its camera rating is fairly decent for such a large tank, it's definitely not incredible. And more importantly, there's 3 artillery on the enemy team. Yeah, that's a little bit awkward. So if I go outside of the town, it's quite likely I'm going to be putting myself in harm's way, and to all intents and purposes, the artillery are going to absolutely plow me. So that's why I've decided to go into the town. One thing you might be noticing is pretty much everyone on our team is wanting to go into the town. And that's because they're all thinking, oh lord, artillery, artillery, artillery. And this is mostly a heavy tank and a tank destroyer matchup. There's not that many light tanks and medium tanks, about 2 medium tanks and 2 light tanks to prop things up, and so all of the vehicles are going to be situated in the center. Just look at this for a start, for showcasing the armor of the Tier 9 Chinese TD. And there you go, there's the first artillery shell, a premium shell from the 212A. And I should have really located the 212's position. In retrospect, he's located up here, but I didn't ping the map, I didn't let my allies know that. I should have probably done that. Oh, that's actually another thing I should mention, is that when I loaded back in after the crash and I just went straight back into the battle, that none of my map pinging was working. I couldn't talk to any of my allies, and I don't think I could even read the chat. So this is going to be very much a blind game, where usually I would communicate with my allies, I would ping the map, I would ask them to do things. You can see that I'm very key on communicating inside games. We were playing multiplayer games after all, and it's part of the key strategy. And if you can work better with your allies, you will be able to improve your impact in the battle together, and together you're stronger and you're going to be able to have a higher win rate. But in this game specifically, I could see what was happening. We could see that there were tanks out towards the east. We could see that there were tanks out towards the south. And that's actually a significant issue for this vehicle. If they manage to get up here, then what is this little light tank going to do? They're going to make their way towards our artillery over here, and then the game is pretty much going to be done. Because if you lose 3 of your artillery to a single light tank, yeah, it might as well be GG. So I'm going to be doing the work that the medium and the light tanks on my team should be doing. Instead, it looks like one of our light tanks has failed. Where's the other light tank? The other light tank, the WZ-132A, actually he's doing a pretty good job. The WZ-132A has actually taken up a stealth position, but it looks like nobody's really been helping him all that much, or with the moisture kill on the T-49, they seem to be helping out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and fight the light tanks in this vehicle. Now you'll notice, I've dabbed the 3 key, I'm loading a high explosive round, and yeah, the high explosive rounds on this vehicle, as you will know, 1,100 alpha damage. Yeah, beautiful. One-shotting the links on the enemy team. That's not a high roll. That's not me getting lucky and rolling for 920 out of 750. I would have had to have rolled extraordinarily low to not be able to annihilate that Tier 8 French-wheeled light tank with a single shot. I just love the different rounds of ammunition on this tank. It's so darn flexible, as I mentioned in my Deja Vu video. Today's not going to be so much about the tank. Today's going to be focused on where we take the vehicle, how we think through the battle, and that sometimes you can't just go and take your tank into a situation that you would want to, where you think that the tank would be strong. Sometimes you can't be the leopard or the gorilla that gets to just sit at the back and just snipe. Sometimes the only option is to have to push, to be able to be aggressive, to take the fight to the enemy team, or inevitably your team is going to lose. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. I could see that if the Lynx was allowed to do whatever they want, if the medium tanks were allowed to flank, my artillery was doomed, and the battle would then just slowly be grinded out by the enemy artillery. So I'm taking it upon myself instead to flank. And you've got to just think about the different situations you're going to get yourself in. So I'm trying to hug the edge of the map here to make sure that we don't get spotted by the medium tanks. And you can see, while I've loaded a high explosive round, I think that's a bit of a misplay right now. I should have probably loaded an AP round there for the Pantera, and I should definitely have an armor-piercing round loaded for the T-34. Because if the T-34 is on full hit points, that means that we're going to have to fire 2 shells to kill the T-34 if we even roll decent. Okay, so high explosive round, 392 hit points. This should still do it, as long as I hit one of the softer parts of the tank. I guess that's not one of the softer parts of the tank. We do 379, leaving the T-34 on 13 hit points, but thumbs up to the artillery on my team as they managed to finish off a job that I should have done myself. Alright, now we're loading armor-piercing rounds, and oh, that 212A hits us again. Super hard. That's nearly 600 damage that the 212A has dealt to us now. In fact, has he dealt all of the damage to our vehicle? Looks like yes, the 212A has dealt all of the damage towards our vehicle. We're going to have to watch out for that artillery and see if we can manage to take them out with this flanking play. And that's what I'm doing, because remember, now all of the light tanks and the medium tanks are dead on the enemy team. Why wouldn't I want to be a sneaky tank destroyer? Just because we're a large lumbering beast doesn't mean that we can't make an aggressive flanking play. And sometimes it's about outmaneuvering and outthinking your opponents rather than just taking your tank into the positions that you think they might be more comfortable in. So we're on the prowl with the Chinese tank destroyer with the big alpha gun that's on the prowl right now. Are we going to find some of the artillery at the back here? The only tank that I'm really worried about right now that I think that could manage to be able to spot me will be the Su-130PM. If that tier 8 Soviet turreted lightly armored tank destroyer has made their way over from the west, or I think that maybe they're probably going to push the west and take on my artillery, then we've got to watch out for that. Oh, easy money right there. Now up to 3,200 damage with a penetrating shell against the Moistion. Probably should have loaded a heat round here or even a high explosive round just to be able to. It's not a Moistion actually, it's a Mauerbrecher. Now, hopefully, we're going to be able to hit the Mauerbrecher again. And yeah, this is kind of where I needed heat. And because the slow shell velocity and the fact that the Mauerbrecher angled the armor, we actually bounced off the side there, which was very well angled. And if we'd fired heat, it probably would have been able to go in. If we'd fired high explosive rounds, yeah, you're probably going to do 200 damage to a Mauerbrecher, irrelevant of where you hit him, to be able to just shut down that tier 8 German heavy tank. Alright, so this game's starting to look a lot closer now with a couple of shutdowns, with the ISM hitting the IS-3 on my team, and as we can see, the enemy artillery is so important here, so influential. They're up to 3 kills between them. It's going to be a few more if I don't manage to get stuck in and try and help out my team. Alright, so now we've got to try and figure out, have the artillery thought about a flanking tank destroyer? We go through the bush, we spot through the bush, we pull back behind the bush, so we can shoot through the bush so that we can remain hidden as we manage to shut down the M4043, who's called Tripolowski on the enemy team. I see what you're doing there, mate. I see what you're doing there, seeing how I am in the land of the Slavs right now. I have been, maybe hamming up an accent occasionally a little bit more than I should have. All right, so 1 artillery done. We're a bit of a hunter right now. Oh, I just love having big alpha damage guns against artillery. You don't have to worry about loading HE. You don't have to worry about whether you're going to low roll. It's impossible to not kill that GW Tiger there with the 750 base alpha damage that this gun has. And so we shut them down immediately, and now going on towards the 212A. This is just being the huge influential play. The Su-130PM kills our Bat-Chatillon 15555, which suggests to me that the Su-130PM has actually made their way up along the western flank. I put the Su-130PM probably over here, maybe up here, killed the Bat-Chatillon. I can't quite see where the Bat-Chatillon died, so I could continue to go up the hill, and possibly I'd be able to find the 212A. But then what am I going to do even if I do find the 212A? Then I leave myself in a 1 versus 3 situation, as this Moistion is probably going to struggle to be able to deal with the tanks. And there you go, there's the Su-130PM, who managed to shut down both of our artillery. And the Moistion actually gets one back for our team and shuts down the E-75, which is going to be a big help. So in these kind of situations, you've really got to wake up. You've really got to know when your allies need help. And because if the Moistion's left alone with this tag team, with artillery supporting them as well, he's completely doomed. But by getting there, I actually give myself a chance to now be able to help the Moistion out and then to have a higher chance of winning the battle. So we penetrate an armor-piercing round through the ISM, and now we reload a high explosive round. And yeah, you guessed it, this is literally going to be a 50-50 roll of the dice. We've got to roll 4 and higher, or we've got to win our coin flip. If we win our coin flip, we will kill this SU in a single shot if we penetrate. Come on! Well, we do manage to get 3 crits there. We do 1,049 damage. I mean, 1,049. How can you ever be sad about doing 1,049 damage, right? You know, when it comes down to now, luckily I'd managed to bounce a heat round from the SU-130PM. If he'd managed to penetrate that shot, he probably could have been able to kill me with a second one with an extra artillery splash. So this is a very awkward scenario. I'm thinking about trying to splash him around the corner and try and be a bit of an artillery. I believe a shell like this will probably have about a 3 or 4 meter splash radius, but probably not the best. So what I should do is I should back off, make it so I'm no longer spotted, and then what I want to do is lock down the SU-130. I want him to panic. I want him to think about what he's going to get up to. I want him to try and move to try and escape, and then I can hopefully be able to shut him down. And there he is! Done exactly what I wanted him to do. He hasn't actually spotted us. Oh no, I think I hit the ISM gun right in front of me. That blooming hitbox caught my high explosive shell, and so we don't manage to hit the SU-130PM. And this is getting ugly now, because I'm thinking, right, the 212A could be up behind me, and if the 212A gets up behind me, then how do I get out of this situation? And I've also got 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the battle to be able to cap, and how am I going to find the 212A if we're unable to do that? So the 212A actually blind fires. I think he saw me moving the tanks a little bit, but here's my chance, boom! 51 damage done, securing the kill on the Tier 8 Soviet turreted tank destroyer, and now we are in to 5 kills. Instantly, what do you see me do? Get towards the cap circle as fast as we can. We need to get towards the cap circle because we're never going to be able to find the 212A. It'd be like trying to find a needle in a haystack right now. Where's he going to be? Is he going to be over in this location? Has he managed to flank around and actually get out over here? Is he making his way towards our base to be able to cap? That's something that the artillery could be doing in this scenario as well. It is quite hard to cap this map as it's quite a short distance between the 2 cap circles. And so if he did manage to get that, I probably could get back in time to be able to finish him off. And it's a very open cap circle with no rocks for him to hide behind. But oh my lord, panic! I've been spotted. Where is he? Well, clearly the 212A is going to be up here. I'm pre-aimed for him. He actually derps the shot into the ridge line there. And now I've got a really tricky scenario. Remember, you need 1 minute and 40 seconds, i.e. 100 seconds, to be able to complete a cap by yourself in World of Tanks on a standard game or an assault game. However, if you've only got 2 minutes left, what do I do? I was thinking right now so many different things. More importantly, I was really thinking that if I was the 212A, I don't know, look, I'm probably never going to penetrate the Chinese tank destroyer in this situation. And I've got more than enough hit points, even if he does, to take the hit quite a few times. It's very unlikely for him to pen. So I was thinking that the 212A was probably going to go here into the bush and then pull back behind the bush as quickly as he could and then derp me over the ridge and reset the cap. Or alternatively, I was thinking the 212A was going to go up into the bushes here and then maybe try and spot me there, and then if he didn't find that out, then maybe he would fall down the slope and I could be able to shut him down. But of course, I have to aim at the high ground. You have to go with your instincts. I'm firing armor-piercing rounds because it will provide an overmatch and we won't have any dodgy hitting of the gun like we did previously. And now, with 26 seconds left, I'm starting to get rather nervous. It looks like the 212A is going to actually be playing for a draw rather than trying to play for the win. But that's actually a pretty good result for a 212A. And oh my lord, somehow he's managed to sneak down, and I'm so lucky because the 212A derps the shell into the ridgeline or it goes short. And interestingly enough, the 212A, for some reason, isn't even trying to run away from me now. The 212A is actually going to... Well, of course, he's not going to run away from me because I was going to be able to complete the cap circle as he didn't manage to interrupt me. Maybe the 212A honorably decided, well, you know what? You had a good old impact in this game, WZ111GFT. You can have my frag at the end of it, giving me the 3rd kill on an artillery, as well as a Top Gun medal. So you know what? For every time I blame artillery for drowning themselves, and I give them a hard time for that, I have to say a big shout out to Yavolim Emelianenko, because you definitely gave me a hard time this game. You put a couple of good shots into me, and at the end, You definitely tried to at least get a draw for your team. You played this game very well. You gave it your all. You made it very interesting for me. Made it a very tense, sweaty situation. I did get some sweaty palms from this replay. And to give the frag without necessarily throwing the game at the end, because of course I was going to cap anyway, was the icing on the cake. Thank you very much. So what around here for the WZ111 GFT, we pretty much had to do everything for the team this game. We had to go be the light tank, spot out the artillery, finish the artillery off, be the flanking medium tank that tries to take the boundaries of the map, and even then go in and be the support tank that the team needed, as well as also the heavy hitter. It was the all-round holistic game for this tank, and I was really happy with the way that I played this round. I loaded back into the battle, making my way in towards the town, thinking it'd be so easy for me to sit there and to hide from the enemy artillery. But then when I noticed I'm going to risk him, I could have sat in the town and I could have picked up, 4,000 damage, and inevitably we would have probably lost this round with losing the artillery if I had done so. So to take that risk, to be able to take the flank, sure, not every time it's going to work out, but was so happy that it did here. So we get a Dimitri's medal for killing the 3 enemy artillery, a high caliber medal for the near 6,000 damage that we dealt, an invader medal for capping out, and a top gun for those 6 kills. And yeah, we made a very decent profit as we didn't even fire any heat rounds for this tank. So as I said in my Deja Vu video, the WZ111 GFT is an absolute cracking tier 9 tank destroyer if you're willing to put it through its paces. But as I started the video, this game wasn't so much about the WZ111 GFT. It was the fact that just because you're playing a heavy tank, just because you're playing a light tank, just because you're playing a tank destroyer, or sometimes just because you're playing a self-propelled gun, it's not enough to be able to win to just take your tank into the safe place or to be able to, a comfort position. You've got to think outside the box. You've got to look for those opportunities. You've got to see how the battle's being developed. You've got to go and load the high explosive round to make sure you can one-shot the wheeled light tank on the enemy team to be able to take back the most important corner of the map and protect your artillery. That's what it's all about. And I hope this video was useful for all of you out there who really want these kind of in-depth strategy videos. If you did, then give the video a thumbs up, give the tank a thumbs up. I give this tank 2 thumbs up, but yeah, give the video a thumbs up. But if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments what you think about different specialist tanks and trying to play them outside of their role on the battlefield. It's definitely one of the more advanced tactics in World of Tanks, and it definitely takes some confidence in your vehicle as well as confidence in the maps and all of the different roles that you could play on that map. But do you have any favorite tanks that can really surprise people by playing them in a different kind of way? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.